The Hussite Wars were a tremendous period in European history during the early 15th century. These conflicts were primarily centered in the Kingdom of Bohemia, which is now part of the Czech Republic, also known as Czechia. At the heart of the Hussite Wars were religious and social tensions that boiled over into open rebellion. The spark that ignited the flames was Jan Hus, a Czech priest who dared criticize the corrupt practices of the Catholic Church. Hus's ideas resonated deeply with the Czech people, who were already feeling marginalized by their German compatriots and rulers. When Hus was executed for heresy in 1415, his followers, known as Hussites, were not having any of it. They rose up in arms against both the church and the ruling elite. What followed was a bloody struggle marked by innovative military tactics and fierce resistance. The Hussites weren't your average rebels. They were organized and determined, using tactics like wagon forts and mobile artillery to outmaneuver their enemies. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Hussites held their ground against multiple crusades launched by the Holy Roman Empire and the Catholic Church. Their resilience and determination earned them a begrudging respect from their adversaries. One of the most renowned factions of the Hussite movement were the Taborites. Named after their fortified city of Tabor, which served as their stronghold, the Taborites were radical in both their religious belief and military tactics. Led by figures such as Jan Žižka, they were known for their fierce determination and innovative warfare. The Battle of Sudoměř in 1420 was a pivotal moment for the Taborites. Facing off against a crusading army led by Catholic nobles, the Taborites employed their trademark tactics of mobile artillery and wagon forts. Despite being outnumbered, they emerged victorious, inflicting heavy casualties on their enemies and solidifying their reputation as a force to be reckoned with. Another prominent faction within the Hussite movement were the Utraquists, who were more moderate in their religious beliefs and political aspirations. They saw a compromise with the Catholic Church, advocating for the administration of communion in both bread and wine, which was called Utraquism, hence their name. While they initially aligned with the Taborites, they eventually split from their more radical counterparts and pursued their own agenda. The Battle of Lipany in 1434 marked a turning point in the Hussite Wars. Fought between the Taborites and the Utraquists, it resulted in a decisive victory for the Utraquists and their allies. Jan Žižka had passed away shortly before the battle, and without his leadership, the Taborites were unable to withstand the combined forces arrayed against them. The defeat of the Taborites paved the way for the eventual truce and consolidation of Utraquist power in Bohemia. These battles and factions illustrate the complexity and diversity of the Hussite movement. From the radical fervor of the Taborites to the more moderate approach of the Utraquists, the Hussite Wars were a multifaceted struggle, driven by religious, social, and political tensions. While the Taborites may have ultimately been defeated, their legacy lived on in the memory of those who fought for religious freedom and independence. The Hussite Wars dragged on for decades, taking a heavy toll on both sides. But eventually a truce was reached with the signing of the Compacta of Prague in 1436. This agreement granted the Hussites some religious freedoms and allowed them to practice their form of Christianity without fear of persecution. Following the truce of 1436, Bohemia experienced a period of relative stability. The Hussites were able to practice their faith, and their influence extended beyond religious matters. They played a significant role in shaping Bohemian society and politics, with Hussite ideas influencing everything from governments to education. However, the peace was fragile, and tensions simmered beneath the surface. The religious divisions that had fueled the Hussite Wars remained, and Bohemia would continue to grapple with internal strife for years to come. Moreover, the legacy of the Hussite Wars reverberated throughout Europe, inspiring other religious reforms and movements, and challenging the authority of the Catholic Church. In the broader context of European history, the Hussite Wars are often overshadowed by other events such as the Hundred Years' War or the Italian Renaissance. However, their significance should not be underestimated. The Hussite Wars were a precursor of religious upheavals of the Protestant Reformation, paving the way for the emergence of new religious and political ideologies that would shape the course of European history. In conclusion, while the Hussite Wars may not be as well known as some other conflicts, their impact on European history was profound. They were a testament to the power of religious conviction and the resilience of those who dared to challenge the status quo. The legacy of the Hussite Wars lives on, reminding us of the enduring struggle for freedom, of the belief, complexities of religious and political identity.